Hello everyone and welcome to the last round of the Arcane Vault tournament here. We're currently 2-1. We're playing against the Motivation here. Looking like playing Kaigalichu, probably a Crusader deck. It's most of the Kaigalichu decks are today. We have a pretty reasonable opening hand here. We've got Skittering Cultivator on 2 into a Tribunal Magistrate or an Empress of the Ice on 3. Probably Magistrate into Empress on 4 plus generate our 4th and 5th Sapphire thresholds. Led on a coin of their own. I'm going to go ahead and lead on a Sapphire Shard here, because if we draw 1 to 2 more shards, we're going to want to cycle this coin, as opposed to playing it out as a resource. It's okay, Jacob Jeffrey. You're very loud and we can all hear you. Uh-oh. Turn 2 Eager Lackey after they played the slow shard on 1. Makes sense. And look at that, we drew a 4th resource, 5th resource, like we said. So I'm going to lead on Skittering Cultivator here, because Warpsteel, Shardsworn, and friends won't be able to attack into 1/1s anyways. If they have a Crusader here, we're not going to be able to attack in regardless, which feels a little bit bad, but is what it is. Yep, there's the Crusader. We have an 0-5 here, but I don't think we're actually going to block the Crusader with it, because then the Tribunal Magistrate will die to Cheap Shot or Strangle, neither of which are particularly good for us, so... Transmogrifade, you say? Huh. So I could just go, like, Transmog this into Warpsteel Shardsworn, which I don't hate. Now, I think I'm just going to lead on the Tribunal Magistrate here, because I would like for them to use Hero Fall type removal on the Tribunal Magistrate, and that possibly means the Empress of Ice is more likely to live the following turn. So I would like to lead on this guy to bait removal, basically. There's a Hero Fall there. Triple A action. So all of our Magistrates have gone asunder. And Naive Lackey back to their hand, so... Second worst card in the Crypt. Would have preferred they got a Shard, obviously, but that's fine too. So, obviously just take this hit for 4 here. On our turn, we will go ahead here and probably go Empress, exhaust... Yeah, certainly. So we'll go Empress, play Sapphire, exhaust the Crusader, activate our champion power, make another Sapphire, exhaust the Lackey so they can't block with it to draw a card. And our hand's a little medium on leftovers right now, but doing too terrible. The second Hero Fall will be a little bit of a beating if they have it, because then they'll take our Empress of the Ice out of the deck, and then we're a little bit low on win conditions. Hero Fall is definitely one of the better cards against the Mono Sapphire deck that we're playing. We have a Mad Robomancer and a Typhoon Skyshaper in the reserves to help this type of matchup. So we can kind of diversify our threat base a little bit. That's pretty good. Hit 2 resources off of that. Been to Bride of the Damned. I'd ideally like to not have to draw... Not have to get hit by another piece of removal here. Let's see what exactly they have going on. That is a... Is that Sacrifice? Interesting. A lot of these decks have been on speed on the rabbits lately, but that is Sacrifice. We'll hold on to the Transmogrifade for now, since we could just, like, make Sapphire Thresholds to exhaust these things. Seems plenty reasonable. Yeah, so I'm just going to play this Silk out for a Sapphire Threshold here, which will let me exhaust the Ruiner Hierophant, which will then not unexhaust, because I have 5 Thresholds and an Empress of Ice. Warpsteel Shardsworn out here. Sacred Sing is a little bit messy, but it probably doesn't matter. Attack for 6. Trading with my Dreadlings. They must have a paw of Yes You Can, right? That's what this feels like to me. Feels like a paw of Yes You Can. Yep. Alright, good read was good. Yep. I'll go ahead and cycle these coins here. See what we find. Treacherous Pass, not particularly good in this matchup. Flooding out a little bit. I think we're just playing this and using it, honestly. Probably transmogging this Rooting Hierophant when it goes to attack. See what it turns into. Possibly eat it. Also, this gets bigger when we play in action, so transmogging this on their turn turns us into a 2/2 for us, which is nice. Conscripted a high infinite tricks. Well, turns out that that is just as good in constructed as it is in limited. So probably dead here. Hopefully they just go all in on this stupid rabbit. That would be ideal. I'm assuming he's going to put flight on here and steadfast on here. Yeah, spread it out a little bit. Makes sense. Sweet. And putting the second one on there is good for us. Transmog this before block. See what we get. The straight removal spell. Sign me up. I'm gonna declare defense and go block like this. And then we can use Treacherous Pass to exhaust all 3 of our cards to give that -1 power so it can't kill my Skittering Cultivator. I'll take 4 here in the sky, trade the 2/2 for the 3/3. 3 cards left. They hit another Underworld Crusader, that would be pretty bad for us. Thankfully, we tripped an Empress of the Ice off the top here, and this can make a Sapphire Threshold, so we'll go ahead and exhaust this Underworld Crusader. They have another Crusader here. They'll be able to play it and revert this Infinite Tricks, which will suck for us, but I'm going to go ahead and activate and hit them with Dreadlings now. Even if they have a piece of removal next turn, this at least buys us a turn. They're just going to take 6 here. There's no reason to chump block 1 when they could, even if they don't have a Crusader now, like they could draw 1 for the turn. They possibly have like Gemboard Prowler in their deck as a 1-of to enable the Crusader as well. So probably 3 to 4 Necrotics that can revert this still. Rotten Rancor. Yeah, game's pretty much done there. So let's go ahead and trim Commander P.R.O.M.P.T and this, and an Empress of the Ice, and the Warpsteel Shardsworn on the Treacherous Pass. Definitely want to go up in the Transmogs. We want a Robomancer and a Sky Shaper. Robomancer is going to get summon Dreadlings and make an action on him. I feel like I want like 3 copies of Deny in this matchup. Shardsworn actually seems pretty poor. Then maybe could I Consult the Talon as well? I'm going to leave the Consult the Talon. I'm going to cut a Shard, actually. These games tend to go a little bit long, and especially when we're drawing a lot of cards, I think it's fine to be a little bit lighter on resources. It feels kind of counterintuitive to like add a 5 and a 6 and like cut a resource, but I think that's fine. I wonder if Frostbite's good enough in this matchup. Let's play it as a fun of, see how it feels. Put gems in there, yep. So just kind of diversify our threat base a little bit so we're a little bit better against Hero Fall. Go first. Adjust this down a little bit. Yeah, seems pretty good actually, right? We've got Shardsworn into Empress of Ice into Commander P.R.O.M.P.T ideally. can see here we're playing on the Wizard battle board here from the Motivation. He top forward the first Clash event this past weekend. Copycat's a decent pickup. Go ahead and play Shardsworn out here, which it's actually kind of interesting, right? Like, so something I've been thinking about in Immortal is that if you put a quick gem in this, you can actually deny on your opponent's second turn, because you could play this out on turn 2 and make deny -1 cost, which is kind of interesting. Zorath's Rectory. Okay, not a card I was expecting. I don't think it really changes anything for us, but not a card that I was strictly expecting out of their deck. I'm just gonna go ahead and play Skittering Cultivator and then crack them for 2 here. They want to spend next turn doing this, and then we draw a non-slow Sapphire Source. We can go Prompt into Copycat kill you, basically, right? Yeah. Yeah, basically. So if they don't have a cheap shot here and we draw a shard, they no, this isn't going to be able to make things, but it'll still be a hit for like 16 here. So let's draw a Sapphire, please, or Silk. Ding, the fries are done. Let's go ahead and play Commander P.R.O.M.P.T out here. And then I activate this guy. Get our 5th Sapphire threshold. And then play out this Copycat. Yep, yep, yep. Smash. Put you to 4, go. Not a bad turn 4 for us. Did ya? Yeah. Aggro Sapphire deck. Huh. That felt pretty good. Do you want to board differently? I feel like the denies are worse on the draw. I'm bringing the extra Frostbite. I'm going to bring in a Shardsworn. Do I not want this? I'm going to cut the Robomancer. I don't know exactly how I like boarding this deck just yet, but Robomancer feels like a little clunky. I like that honestly, the Robomancer may be better as a Typhoon Skyshaper, in all honesty. I'm going to put a 3rd Commander P.R.O.M.P.T back in, just like maximize our aggressive draws alongside these Frostbites, I think. I'm going to give this a go. See how this feels. I feel like we need a 2-drop play when we're on the draw. We almost always want a 2-drop play with this deck, but like getting it when we're on the draw is especially important, because like not doing anything till turn 3 against the Crusader Runeer deck seems like a bad move. Yeah, same seems great, right? We've got like Skittering Cultivator on 2, into Frostbite down your things, attack with it on 3, and to Consult the Talons with it on 4. You get to focus on 1 as well. The Illusion of Choice. Yep. I think it's just a single coin off of it that time around. That's kind of rough. Man, we boarded a shard out, right? Feeling happy we did that. Does he not have a play here? It must just be Hero Fall, right? Like that's the play is Hero Fall. Rats. It's a shame we didn't draw Shardsworn there, because if we drew Shardsworn, can you bring me your cup? I attack with this. And I wonder if he's gonna kill this if we don't do anything here. It's like this turn like screams Hero Fall, right? Yeah, it's actually a little bit bad for us. We just like got this Consult the Talon in our hand and just like nothing else going on. And just hit like what, 5 straight shards in a row this game? We focused into 2, and then, yeah, we've drawn shards all 3 turns. I guess we drew a Transmog, right? So it's 3 Forestry shards into a Transmog. Yeah, I definitely feel like we should never board out the 2-drops. Here, they got a Runeir back to their hand. There's a Gargolith in their deck. That's interesting. I guess let's keep with Rotten Rancor. Copycat. Yeah, that seems pretty good, right? We just, like, turned their rabbit into a 2/2. Seems fine. This also reverts. So ours, this reverts the thing we're copying, and ours becomes the copy. So we get the 5/5, and theirs is now a 2/2. And if we draw Venom, we can actually make blood with this. So this can be can't be blocked by troops with power less than it. That's pretty good. We have another rabbit here, perhaps. I feel like you'd have to have another rabbit. Double Crusader getting turned over is good for us. Man, would have loved a Shardsworn there. I think I'm actually just gonna gas up here. Really need some action. We found Skittering Cultivator Rooter is actually kind of a combo, right? Like he just puts a bunch of Dreadlegs on the table. And like next turn we get to play this plus make a blood. We don't have removal here. That's really good for us. Probably start on a focus next turn, see where we go from there. That's bad for us. I guess we have Transmog to deal with that, so it's not too big of a deal. Come on. Survey says. Some more flood. Survey says. Alright. Alright, we're getting somewhere, kinda. Let's play this out for a blood threshold. Which of these two am I playing this turn? Probably the Tribunal Magistrate, right? I'm going to attack with this because they might grasp it before blocks, so that way they can eat it with this. Nope. Okay, sure. You have a hero fall here? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and transmog this. Just get that out of the way now. I'm going to play this Tribunal Magistrate out here. So we missed a point of damage there, but I think it was worth it on the off chance they try to strangle this and then eat it with the bride. And then we got to like transmog the bride in response. And like win that inside of combat. Their deck's getting pretty small. These next 2 Silks are going to get to put 3 Spiderling eggs each into their deck, which is good for us. Hopefully we don't lose this by 1 point of damage. It would be mildly embarrassing. So every non-resource they play at this point causes Tribunal Magistrate to put 2 eggs in their deck, so hopefully we'll start stacking eggs up in their deck pretty quickly. They've already used most of their mill coins, which is kind of unfortunate. Another Bride of the Damned. Okay, well, if they've got blood into removal, we are pretty ranched at this point. Just only drawn 1 Transmogrifade this game in 18 cards, and they've drawn 2 Brides in a similar number of cards. They've drawn less actual cards than us too, right? Because they've milled most of the cards off their decks. They've just like drawn 2 Brides and 10 cards. Probably like 14 or 15 cards, but still it's less than we have. Commander P.R.O.M.P.T. Do what I need you to do, Commander P.R.O.M.P.T. Maybe? What are the odds they don't have another removal spell? Probably low. It's like play these out and hope for the best, basically. This could have him dead in 2 if he doesn't have another piece of removal, right? And it needs to be Hero Fall, can't be Strangle. They can't race us either, thanks to this Frostbite. Alright, it gives us a spider, which makes that bigger. Sweet. Trying to dodge Hero Falls here. They really haven't played any, right? Yeah, actual 0 Hero Falls, so maybe we'll get lucky on that end of the spectrum, and they won't have any Hero Falls in their top whatever number of cards while they had 2 Brides. They have the Hero Fall here, we could actually be in pretty big trouble, right? Because they could, like, kill the Prompt. I guess the Frostbite gets them, right? Hopefully this Ruinier's good enough. Our little Copycat, along with our Silk, going to town here. Rotten Rancor. I wish I knew what this was targeting. Oh, fuck! Oh, jeez, that's so frustrating. That's so frustrating. Wow. Yeah, I need to file a bug about that. That's so tilting. So I can't Frostbite now. Yeah, so the frustrating part here is that Rotten Rancor doesn't show you what it's targeting, and I forgot the Gargolith was in there when I did my quick glance. So Gargolith comes into play and has Spell Shield. So like if I know the Gargolith's in there and I know that's what he's targeting, we get to Frostbite, tap down this and this, or sorry, this and the Bride, and then he can only attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I've got 2 blockers. That's a pretty frustrating way to end a match that was really close. All right, well, yeah, I guess we're gonna finish 1 and 2, but the deck would have finished 2 and 2, so, or would have finished 2 and 1 if, you know, the interface wasn't miserable for Rotten Rancor. So yep. All right. Thanks for watching, folks. You know, aside from the bad end to, you know, the match here, I appreciate everyone watching the YouTube content, and let me know how you feel about these versus live streams. Is it worth doing some of these, or is it better off if I just spend all the time doing live? This was oh, children. This was a timed event, so there would have been a bunch of downtime in between, so I didn't want to stream it live with downtime, so I was just recording the matches as I played them. So, yeah, and leave your feedback in the comments below. And as always, be sure to check out the sponsors and the Patreon and all that other jazz. Thanks for hanging out, folks. I'll catch y'all around.